Oh my gosh, there's just too much to do. There's nothing that can handle this. There's just too much on my workload. Nothing to do. What should we do about it? My VIP cohort, ready to lend an ear. Hopefully every one of you is having a physical everything. This format of video today, we ain't gonna go through a slide deck. We're gonna be talking about mind dumping. Now, one may be thinking, why would somebody go over mind dumping? And the answer is quite simple. We need to allow our brains to throw out all the stuff that we've been stimulated by. There is social media, there's Claude skills, more tactics, techniques, books, accounting methods, legal jargon, medical terminology. The list can go on and on. Home improvements, real estate, you name it. It can come to mind. And if we allow all those floods to just come out, and our main focus is the one thing, but this comes in, we have no business. We have a paranoid fool. And that is not a good recipe. So the philosophy that I give to you is this. Get out a piece of paper, scribe down all the things that you got to do. And I've been testing this out recently. I'm thinking about calling it the 13-hour weekend or day. That's where I'm looking at right now. But in short, it's taking things in batches. So you have like your first priorities that come first, then you have your second priorities, and then your third priorities. And you keep going down the list. The first priorities get 8 hours. So they are like the highest amount of time. Once you finish those, then you can start on your next batch, the second priorities. And I've given those 4 hours. So those things should be lighter. If it does have something that's heavier, you can move it up into the 8-hour period if it's that important. But if it's not that important, try to keep it in that 4-hour window. And then the third priority is pretty much your lightweight stuff, emails, all this stuff. And if you can avoid those, it's great. But if it's in that window where you can work within it, then that's good too. So just be very tactical. But you're allowing the biggest things that drive whatever you're doing forward as the first platter that must be done before you go down the list. And that's what I'm testing right now. It's yielding okay, yet you gotta find what topics need to be worked on. And then there's also the point of how well do you take risk and the fear to the unknown thing that you're going at. So we have to pretty much does our competency level allow for the risk and confidence to allow the confidence to soar over the risk fear factor? And then we're in a frame of thought that's calm, yet not absent like a monk. That's a bad reference. Monks are pretty cool. I would say just laissez-faire and not seeing too much of the world. We need to have a grounding. So, what would be a good thing to mind dump on? Ideas. You get up in the morning and you have something that's popped right into your mind. What should you do about it? Should you do A, nothing, B, write it down, 3, pull out your phone and try to scribe it in notes and then maybe hop off to social media, or 4th, we'll get back to it. The answer should definitely be nothing. Of course, that's not the answer. Remember, scribe down on a piece of paper. Even in this technology age, it's more important than ever to write things down, because sometimes going through the complexities just really disengage us from hand and brain. The pen and the mind are a marvelous thing. The more technology we get, the more I would say it's important to scribe things down. And then you can transcribe it into the computer. And now you're creating more contact with you and your memory. I am a big believer in infographics. And the reason that I go heavily into infographics is it brings visuals and concise words together, and it stimulates your brain into more effective thinking. And that's good. But scribing things down on paper is equally as good. And the more times that you do all these types of actions, they come back together to show that you're doing that one thing. And this is the point I want to get at too. A lot of the suffering and pain that we get to is that we're avoiding the thing. The thing or the outcome or the objective, whatever word you want to put to it. It doesn't matter. It just requires us to face reality and put all our chips on where we've developed, that if we conquer that obstacle, that giant, whatever name you want to call it, I would say wall. Let's just say that the wall. We conquer that wall, and then we have entry into a new kingdom. And this kingdom is different because all the things prior led us up to this siege. And instead of us defending against this oppressor, we have now set the battle to them. And now we breach it, and now we get the victory that we seek. We have to stop trying to cope and start going on the attack. And I think sometimes we fall in love with being the defenders, because defending is pretty cool sometimes when you're on top of the wall. But you must also be well versed in the art of an attack. An attack is what you must do. Attacks get you more resources, and that's what you need. If we're too defensive, we lose the opportunities that come our way, and that's not a good thing. But passing an opportunity because you do not have the mind, the ability, or the prowess at that time to do it, that is a smart move too. So it's always a game of understanding where you are at and how you can play within the confines. And all too often, I'm going to go off to a little philosophy on this regard. The mimetic theory, Rene Girard. He's in peace now, rest in peace. But he pretty much says that we honestly get our desires by getting them from others, and then they find it from others. And that cycle just keeps repeating itself. And in that mimicry, we are seeking the scapegoating mechanism, where it's just pretty much blame and violence. And those two don't go well together. And when we keep playing the victim rather than accountability and responsibility, we're going to bring about a calamity. And it's sad in that regard. But there's grace in knowing that if you can take responsibility and accountability, the world that shapes around you is yours. And that's for yours alone. So, how do you grade the feedback in this mind dump? So we're like unloading a lot of cool topics, and we just got way too much that can't be done. Let's say I put 100 things on a piece of paper. I made it more like a bucket list than actual things I can do. And this is where you got to start looking at it. Eliminate. A lot of these things that you want to do, it's either going to require sacrifice, delegation, leverage, and systems if you want to do those things. And then sometimes if all four of those can't be done, You just gotta let go and then be at peace with it. You don't see Bill Gates trying to be the NVIDIA. They can make products to complement each other, but the main thing is Microsoft focusing Microsoft, their software licensing and so forth. NVIDIA focuses on graphics cards and computing and all of that. Apple focuses on Apple phones and product lines. They don't go make Samsung phones and put Android. Yeah, I think no, they did have a compatibility at one point between Androids in there, but it's still hardship. But the point I'm trying to make is that they focused on their thing. They didn't try to go be the best at everything. They focused on one thing. And that one thing can bridge out to many things. Large language models is a prime example of that. They focused on large language models, and the models built solutions from whoever prompted it in the regards. And here's the best example that came to mind. JP and Morgan does not go make Intel chips. They focus on banking, but they fund Intel. So they are focused on lending practices. I done goofed. Done goofed. Yet, it's not so much of a goof. All right. Have a great one, my VIPs. Deuces.